They say 7 heads together is stronger than one. Making plays, open J's, and the open run. If we talking about breaks and shooters filling lanes, all my dogs is down for war, you can tell how they train. Coaches coach and players play, but they learn from each other. If the roles are reversed, this Jason Kidd, we assist one another. Making strides for a ship in the regular season, lacing up these nights, a band of brothers turning into some demons. Through the season, spring to fall, we gon' see who was working. When the winner hit the surface, gon' see who deserve it. Left competition in the dust, now the opposite deserted. Only lions in my circle, we hungry for purpose. Not just giving all these stripes, you can see that I earned them. Can't fuck the system, take the knowledge and study and learn it. We as strong as said the weakest, 1 through 12 is equal. Tried to trap me, saw it now, you know I had to thread the needle. You know I had to thread the needle, try erase and draw it up, just trying to see my youngins eating. Yeah, you know I had to thread the needle, try erase and draw it up, just trying to see my youngins eating.
All right, welcome to another episode of the Coaches Show. Coach for the coaches, by the coaches. I want to ask everybody that's in a few housekeeping rules. If you just came in, make sure you press mute if you're not talking. This is a special edition of the Coaches Show. We had one of our coaches, Coach Burke, really good friend of mine. Although we didn't talk every day, but every time we had an opportunity to chop it up, he always, just like any other coach in the county, we always show love to one another. But we thought it was great idea, even though it might be moving a little bit too fast, whatever may have you with the funeral and people that's at his funeral now and at his services, the celebration of life services. We wanted to give this episode in tribute to Coach Burke and what he meant, not just to the Northwestern family, but not just to the town of Hyattsville, but to our Prince George's County as a whole. So I want to say thank you to all the coaches that came in today. Thank you, guys. All right, so our first person, we're going to start off with Coach Lou, legendary Coach Lou, someone I definitely look up to, and I know I'm speaking to a lot of gentlemen that's in this chat right now that's been doing it all the time. He's going to give his say about what he wants to see from us as young guys, and then from his words about Coach Burke as well.
Absolutely. Before we get started, I think we should absolutely do a good prayer for his family. I know they're going through some hard times right now. Just like to say a quick prayer for them. We just thank the Lord each and every day for Coach Burks and everything he's done in Prince George's County, for the Coaches Association, for his family, because he was such a wonderful father, and just a very, very good coach for his players at Northwestern, and just a role model he was in Prince George's County and for life in general. We just thank him each and every day for his contributions to our lives, and we thank God, and we pray that he rest in peace, and that we just join in to everybody just saying amen.
Amen.
Yes, Coach Burks and I was, good friends as well. And, he was such a gentleman, a scholar. I guess you all know that he was a Navy man, so he served his country. He served his family. I had an opportunity to watch his sons play basketball in my leagues, also during the county games and in all-star games. And Coach Burks was so proud of his student athletes, not just all the players at Northwestern, but around the county. I mean, he was very embedded in the PG County Coaches Association. He wanted things to go well for everyone. But he was so, jacked up about his kids. He really wanted his kids to do very well. He stood up for his players on every occasion, whether it's trying to get them in the school, the colleges, whether he was, trying to get them to win a game. He was so embedded into them, trying to get all-star votes. I mean, Coach Burks was very much loved by his student athletes. But in Prince George's County Public Schools, we need more coaches like that, coaches that are willing to go the extra miles. All of us have families that we deal with every single day. And so did Coach Burke. He had family as well. But when it's time to take time out for his student athletes, he would definitely do that. He would go above and beyond to try to support his student athletes. And I tell the story about the fact that he wanted to go over to Bowie State University and watch one of his former players, David Bell. And it was senior night. Coach Burke was looking to get in the gym to see his former player, called up and asked if he could get my son, Brian Wilson, who's the associate head coach at Bowie State, see if he could get tickets for his family to come over to the game. And of course, we obliged, and of course, he got tickets. And of course, Coach Burke showed up for David Bell on senior night at Bowie State University. And that's the kind of love that he showed for his former players. He really stepped up for them whenever he was needed. And he had a great mentor as well. One of my great friends, rest in peace, Coach Gerald Moore, who he coached under at Northwestern. You know, he had a good mentor in Coach Moore, who had won many championships. And Coach Burke is definitely on his way to get a niche in the county as winning some championships of his own. Another story I have of him was we played Coach Burke's over at Northwestern on February 13th. And Coach Burke was, like I said, a great guy. He was always hospitable. But this particular night over at Northwestern, my wife, as you all know, is a scorekeeper, and he would always greet her. He'd always come to my wife at every game, you know, hug her and give her love and show her respect. He was so excited for us that particular game. He was so excited that after the game, he won. He beat Wise. He beat us in overtime after the game. And most coaches don't do this, but we hugged after the game. We showed each other love, much respect. He beat me in that particular game. And then after hugging me, he goes over and hugs my wife, gives my wife a big old hug. So, you know, we feel like, you know, we were a part of his family as well. So we have much respect for his family and Coach Burke. I just want to say, may he rest in peace. God bless him, and we love him. And I just hope that a lot of the other county coaches, you know, represent us in the same way, that, you know, we show each other love and not hate on one another as we battle on the court, that we show that we got to show our kids how to represent each other when we're out there. So I just want to say, God bless everybody's on the call right now, and I love you all. God bless you, and let's celebrate Coach Burke.
Great words, Coach Lou. We really appreciate that, and like we said all the time, we all one county at the end of the day, you know, and so we definitely thank you for being backing our county as well. And as a friend and as a mentor, I want to say thank you too as well. Those who are in the chat as well, if you just chimed in when others are talking, please press mute so that it won't be distorted on the end. So at this time, I'm open the floor up to anyone, all the Northwestern participants that's in. You guys can chime in and say your piece, and then we'll pass it on to the next person. That's okay.
I'll start the party off. Coach Burke gave me my first high school opportunity. I was coaching at the middle school ranks. I was over there at Highsville Middle. They had got rid of middle school sports, so I went to Northwestern. It was like, you know, hey, you know, it was an opportunity, you know, for me to move up, you know, possibly coach JV. So I never forget, we went to Three Brothers, place over there, I think of Kenilworth or something. Strong drinks, real strong drinks, man. So, you know, you really learn a person, you really have your best conversations over dinner and drinks. That's what I always learn. Not really just face to face in the gym. So that kind of brings out your real personality. So, you know, a couple of things he taught me, he was like, you know, you got to learn the game. You got to learn the people. And for me, I never worked in academia other than just being a substitute teacher. So I didn't really know that part of the game, that part of the house. And, you know, he kind of gave me a couple different things that, you know, that I've been able to take with me now. Like, oh, okay, that's how it works. Oh, that's how you do it. Because I was just coaching, and I was looking at it from the standpoint, you know, I'm just coaching basketball, trying to help the kids. And he was giving me gems. But at the time, I was in my third year, you know, coming from the middle school, having some success, coaching some good guys. So, half of me was like, okay, I hear what you're saying, but the other half is like, I'm still gonna do my thing. Gave me full autonomy to help the JV program. Always open the gym. We had a few battles behind the scenes, and I think that that's the only way you can grow as a person, as a coach. You got to be told no. You got to understand, what you can do, what you can't do. And Burke just gave me those gems, and like I said, I've been coaching now for about 12 years. Had a couple of different stops, been very successful, which I'm thankful for. And like I said, at the end of the day, I owe everything to him because he gave me opportunity. We bumped heads a few times, and I just learned from him. And like I said, I'm very appreciative of Coach Burke for giving me the opportunity to be able to coach in PG County. Great community, great bunch of coaches, everybody on here. I've coached against or senior teams, and like I said, everybody I got much respect for. So like I said, in the day, I owe Coach Burke for getting my coaching career in high school when he started off. So.
First of all, I just want to give thanks and for allowing me to be able to even come on to the video to even give my praises and my thought and care to the Burke family. Coming out of college at Fayetteville State 2011, moving up to the Maryland, D.C. area, I was teaching, and a gentleman brought me over to Northwestern, and I met Burke, I met Jeff Lindsay, and I also met Tut in the gym that same day. I think they was just getting through tryouts, or maybe right at the end of the tryouts or somewhere around that time. And they just came in, and I just started talking to Burke, and I let him know where I was coming from. I was getting out of college. I'm fresh out. I'm eager to learn. I'm eager to give back to the community and teach a lot of young boys that I'm going to be coming across. And he just took me in from day one and just like really just took me in his family. And I'm always appreciative of that. Like, you don't really meet too many people that allow you to come in and, especially coming out of college, don't even know you, and to give you an opportunity to jumpstart your career into a passion that that you love dearly. And that's what he did for me. He opened his doors. When he allowed me in, he opened his doors. I was by his side from 2011, right at the beginning of the season, 2014. And it was just like family, day one. Just like Tut was talking about, the three brothers. We had plenty of nights at the three brothers after practice, after the games, going over the green belt, going over TGI Fridays, and just having a good time. And he just opened the doors for me, man. Like, it just showed me how things supposed to go in the coaching world and in PG County. And just it really gave me the keys to all his boys and said, hey, coach, here you go. Have at them, give them with everything, all the tools that you need, work them out, and continue. My fault, I had a phone call coming in. Work them out and continue to give them everything that they need to be better. And I could just remember one day, Burke, he called me around Christmas time. He's like, hey, I got my family coming from New York. I'm a big Cowboys fan. And he's from New York. And they always screaming, Giants, Giants, Giants. And I could just remember open his doors, man, open his whole house, and like, whatever you need, man, is yours, just like it's mine. And met his family opened up their arms to me and just welcomed me in. And it's always been like that. Me and Burke's last conversation we had was right before our season kicked off. I was coach at Baloo, and we was over the summer, and we was just talking about my career path and which way I need to go. I'm a teacher right now, and I know I want to be in leadership. And Burke always said, hey, man, this is what you got to do. And the last thing he told me, I need you to go get this certification in the leadership, get your certifications in leadership, and it'll open the doors for you. And ever since he told me that, I've been on that path of a journey of leadership in the school system. So I'm just thankful for what he's done and how he just showed me so much when I came to Maryland. So I'm thankful for him. Thank you, Burke, for all you've done.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Coach.
No, I was about to say, if I didn't know if Coach went. I know he was, he was there. And I don't want to cut, I'm not trying to cut nobody off. First and foremost, good to see everybody, man. I'm glad everybody is healthy, staying safe. Coach Kamara, appreciate you for having this and putting this together. I don't want to get long-winded. By all means, cut me off if I do. I was at Northwestern since about 2012. And came over from I came over from Baltimore. So I was at Northwestern 2012. And that's when I met Burke. one of the first people there to welcome me to PG. All right, and that was his opening to me. He was like, all right, welcome to PG. Let me school you on some things along the way. So it's the way, it's the way things go out here, et cetera, et cetera. And so I said, all right, bet. So you can imagine working every day with a person. You have students, they're a counselor, you're gonna see them every day. And I did, man. I saw them every day. And up until this last year, this current year is my first year. I went to another school. So I Northwestern from 12 to this past year, 18, 19. So I saw him every day, man. We talked every day. I coached in Baltimore at the time at a high school in Baltimore. He coached, of course, at Northwestern. So we would chop it up. I did a portion of my life up north, New Jersey. He's from New York. So we talked about old school New York legends, basketball-wise, Jersey legends, and we talked about high school basketball throughout the years. And as another coach just said, it was some things that, I loved it because the conversation was genuine. It was nothing fake. It was always authentic with Burke, man. If he didn't agree, he would tell you he didn't agree. If he had something for you, he was going to tell you he had something for you. If it was, if he, yes, no, et cetera. And like you said, coaches, you got to hear that. Even just as men, you got to hear that. It helps you progress and it helps you mature through life. And that was just, honestly, that was every day. Along with what the other coaches said, we would go out. He introduced, like I said, this was new for me over here at the time. So throughout the years, he would introduce me to places to go eat, meet good people, sit down, kick back, have a good time, just enjoy and learn the lay of the land over here, besides all the major places. So, and I'm just, it's kind of like a repetitive statement here. Open his arms, open his doors, and his family to you, man. It was kind of like if he had it, you had it. You understand? And from day one, that's how he was. Ended up with both frat brothers as well, and the same frat. So that kind of connected us more, and it just, it made the bond stronger. And so what he was saying was, when you get out here, son, you got to get out here and coach. You got to come out here and coach. And I was like, nah, I'm good where I am, right? So, yeah, I was taking that trip back and forth to Baltimore for years. I'm good where I am. I'm good where I am. He would, and then it got to the point where he was saying, look, you got to get out here and coach with me. So he was leading up to it, but he's like, you got to get out here and coach with me. And I was like, all right, we'll see how that's going to go. Long story short, it got to that point, where I started looking on this side. And this past year, honestly, we were putting it together for me to be coaching with him. And he was saying, if you don't get anything else, because you're already a head coach, you don't get anything else, I want you a part of my staff. Let's go ahead and do this. As you all see, I'm the coach at High Point. I got the High Point job. And the first call I got was from Burke. The first call I got, congratulating me. Couldn't be more happy, offering me tips, plays, everything you wanted. He was right there, and that's just, like I said, man, just to reiterate whatever other coaches are saying, that's been him. That's just him. And it's as hard as I don't know what, because I had a picture I posted, and you couldn't have told me that our last game together, when we played them over at Northwestern, was going to be the last time I saw him. And then when playoffs started, we spoke that week. You know what I'm saying? And it's weird because, like, you always hear, I was just talking to a person. And you see, yeah, I was just talking to him, man. And so I reiterate what Coach Lou says. Hey, man, I love you guys. Coach, I appreciate the opportunity. I wish nothing all of you but health, success. I mean, I'm here. I've been here for years. You need anything from me, please let me know, man. I've always been that person, but things happen in life, such as, this tragic event, to kind of elevate that, man. If I got it, you got it. You need anything from me, please reach out. And Coach Lou, I know you opened your phone to me the other day. I couldn't give you a call because we were kind of dealing with something similar in my family, man. It's
Yes, sir.
this virus is taking people, man. So
Yes, sir.
I love you guys, man. Stay healthy. I appreciate the time, man.
I'll just chime in really quick. Majority of everybody said what I wanted to say. My name's Chuck Bates, and I played for him for about 2 years at Northwestern before I went to go join Coach Lou Wilson over there at Riverdale. And one thing that would stick out to me was when I made that transfer to Riverdale, it wasn't really a popular decision amongst like my friends, even some teachers, even some administrators in the building. And I didn't even know how to come back to even go to football games. I didn't know if I could come back for homecoming. I didn't know any of that. Burke called me 3 weeks into the school year, cussing me out, asking me why I didn't come see him. He was just that type. He was just that type of dude. Just a dude that just cared about you. Once he coached you, he treated you like a son. There was many times one of my teammates in here, B-Man, Byron Jones, we'd be over his house. He'd come pick us up in the Escalade. Maybe he tried to show me how to ride a motorcycle till I fell off. Like this man, he was just a great man. Knowing him for 15 years, he's just been definitely one of my father figures. I feel like us as coaches, we take on that big brother, that father, that uncle role, and just me as I didn't have any direction at that time, 16, 17 years old. I always mention people such as, of course, the God rest his soul, Coach Moore, now God rest his soul, Coach Burke, and of course my main man, Coach Lou Wilson. Them people really guided my life, and it helped me in the path that I'm in. I ended up becoming a successful high school teacher, really, following that path, really trying to impact as many kids as possible. And I'm just on here ready to show my appreciation and, to thank Burke, because I can honestly say I don't know where I would be without them gentlemen. When I was 16 years old, 17 years old, I don't know. So I just want to, also to let y'all know the impact that we make. In Burke's honor, let's continue to make this impact on these children. Just watching his Facebook Live funeral, I mean, he had 450 people in the funeral. That's love. That's a lot of love. Lord knows, a lot of people on Facebook, he might have had 1,000 people at that funeral. We don't know. So let's just live out, in Burke's honor and, continue to live his legacy. And, I just definitely appreciate all you all for being on this call, and, let's just do it for Burke.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Coach Chuck, for those words too. Just a few housekeeping things as well. If you're not talking, you can press mute on the app. That way, sound won't be distorted, and then we will get some interference. Saquon, if you can hear me, you can press mute on your phone as well. Next person from Northwestern, you got the floor.
I'll go ahead and speak, man. My name is Byron Jones. I played for Burke. Me, Chuck, his son, Terrance Burke Jr., all of us transferred all the same year. Matter of fact, Burke, first year was all of our first year there. So we transferred. I transferred like a couple days before the season started. And, Burke just took an automatic liking to me, man. Like Chuck said, we was always over his house. One of the most memorable things, this is like my first time playing basketball. I came straight off the street to varsity, and he was screaming at me, telling me to shoot the ball. I was just trying to be a part of the team, you know what I'm saying? Chuck laughing because he knows it's the truth. So Burke saw something in me that I didn't even see in myself, at that time. Him and Coach Moore, rest in peace, Coach Moore, both our coaches, and his belief in me surprised myself, and it made me kind of believe in myself towards like our senior year. We being able to get some accolades, being able to play college, and being able to go on, even after that. Even after we graduated or whatever, like Chuck said, we would go over Burke House, you know what I'm saying? And just kick it. He arguing still with me then about shooting the ball more. So I just got a chance to talk to him. I actually came to their last regular season game versus Flowers. And so it might have been versus Park, I can't remember. But me, him, and his son got a chance to talk in the hallway. And everybody know Northwestern, that back little hallway is where all the sports, that's where we talk at, man. So, I'm just honored that I did take that, that stance and come to the game. And we actually had about a 35-minute conversation just about old times, new times, and what Burke wanted to do for the future. One thing I know everybody was saying, me and Burke definitely argued a lot, man. Me and him argued a lot because that New York swag, they love to argue, man. So that's one thing I learned. Talking about, Burke was also my guidance counselor, and so he took me. I had horrible academics, Chuck could tell you, before I came to Northwestern. And so, he took me out of a bad situation and, turned me to an honor roll student. So I don't got too much to say. I know over the years, him, Coach O, those some of the guys who supported me when I first started basketball training, stuff like that. So I just want to say thank you to, Coach Burke. Hopefully both his sons, Sydney and Terrance, both get to see this. And, some of the stuff I just, won't say on the video, but, it was great times. And, I love you, Coach Burke. Saquon, you up, man?
My fault, I'm driving right now, though.
All right.
So, yeah, I'm Saquon. Similar to B-Man and Chuck, I transferred from Northwestern my senior year, I think. I played for 3 years. As a freshman, I started played JV, failed off. At the end, he wanted me to move up to varsity my freshman year, but I couldn't because I had a 1.7. I had to talk with him after that, where he just, like B-Man, he saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. Because coming into high school, I wasn't really a basketball player. I love football more at first. And then once me and Burke had that talk, he believed in me that, so I really bought into basketball right then and there. And I'm not gonna lie, over the years, Burke, when I transferred, he kept in contact. There was never no loss of or nothing when I left. And just last month he was at my senior night at Bowie. Just to see him, he was smiling. And right now I'm kind of hurt. I ain't gonna lie, so I don't got much to say. But I just left from his viewing, and it was hard to see. I'm not gonna lie. That was probably one of the hardest things to see right now. And then we just lost another teacher, Ms. Crease. It was just times hard right now. But Coach John, thanks for having me. I'm driving, so I ain't trying to crash or nothing. I'm pass it back to somebody else right now.
Hey, what's going on? Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Greg Singletary, class of 2000 graduate from Northwestern High School. Recently, I was the JV head basketball coach for Northwestern High School. I just, I kind of my favorite Burke story is 2012 is when I originally came back to Northwestern and began coaching. And to be honest with everybody, when I first started coaching, I was a football coach. You know what I mean? So I started helping out with the football team, and a couple of my players at the time were also they also played basketball. And I remember going to one practice, and at the time it was Coach Burke, Coach Lindsey, Andre, Coach Lindsey's son had JV, and Coach Stussy, or Coach Goodall, excuse me, the JV. And you know what I mean? They were like, you could, during practice, Coach Burke was kind of like, him and Jeff were kind of focused on the varsity practice, and Andre was the head JV coach at the time was helping out. And so I just stepped on. I was like, hey, coach, you need a hand. And he was like, you know what you're doing. Like, it was real, but it was just like out the gate, you know what I mean? You're a football coach, you know, what you doing? So but I was like, I mean, I just help. Just tell me what you want to get done, son. I just help you. And at the time, I just helped out with some little drills. And from that point on, Coach Burke pretty much just welcomed me on the staff. And the following season, I believe that was Saquon's sophomore year. That was Mike and David Bell and all of those guys' senior year. It was a pretty good Northwestern team, and he just allowed me to be in the gym and watching them practice and do all that good stuff. And I will never forget, we had the Northwestern does during a pep rally. They do staff versus the players game, and so the whole time we got there, they prepared for it, and Coach Burke was kind of cool, calm, and collected as always. You know what I mean? Gucci down, cool, calm, and collected, right? and I said, Coach Burke, you playing or whatever? And he was like, man, I don't know. And then we began like going back and forth. And that's when I first noticed the competitive nature of Coach Burke. And he kind of relayed that to his kids, you know what I mean? If you're going to compete, compete, you know? And anyway, we got to the game and we a couple of the faculty got in. I kept looking. I was like, yo, coach, you going to get in? He ain't say nothing. Next thing I know, maybe 2 dead balls later, Coach Burke get in. So I cannot lie to you. First thing in my mind, I'm like, all right, man, we might need to stretch it for this old dude. You know what I mean? Just joking around. And real quick, Coach Burke came in, got a layup. Coach Burke came in, got a jump shot, got like 3 straight buckets. And I'm looking, I'm like, all right, Coach Burke. And he was like, yeah, he said, don't get it twisted. I'll never forget those words. I'll never forget him saying that to me. And ever since then, kind of to echo what everyone said, like he kind of welcomed me into the program. I actually stepped away from the program in 2015 for about 2 years. And then I moved out of state and came back. When I came back, I was walking through Northwestern's hallway and I saw Coach Burke and he was just like, hey, man, so what you going to do? In my mind, I'm thinking, I didn't know what he was talking about, but he was referring to coming back to the program. And I was like, yeah, well, any way you can help out, I will. And he said, come on, man. And ever since then, like everyone's kind of echoed, like he always had open arms. Then he allowed me to come in and help out with the program. Eventually, he allowed me to be his JV head coach. And like this past year, you know what I mean, you could see as alumni came back to the program and visited. I don't care whether you played for a year, graduated, or tried out. Like there was the same feeling when you approach any alumni. Like it was just love. Like you, once a Wildcat, always a Wildcat, and then that's one of the things I admire about him, and kind of still in my mantra today. Like you know what I mean. Like we're a family, dog. It's all about productivity, and you know what I mean, and moving on to bigger, better things. Like this year, I see Marquise is on here. Marquise will tell you, man. Like we had some battles in practice, you know, but it was the love you needed. It was a tough love you needed. He made sure the kids knew basketball was a tool, but like we were building young men. You know what I mean? Like we were building high school graduates, potential individuals that would be successful in their careers, man. And that's the basis I got from Coach Burke, being able to coach under him. You know, like it would be games where Coach Wilson was on earlier. Like we'd be down at halftime. I mean, it's same thing with Coach O. We'd be down at halftime. Burke would catch me before I go to the locker room. Like, hey, you can't go in there just yelling at the kids, man. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta come up with a plan. You know what I mean? Like, right now, it's not you know what I mean? It's not always the kids' fault. You know what I mean? Like those tidbits of wisdom. You know what I mean? As we're going in, and most of the coaches on here, Coach Kamara, Coach O, you know. Coach Berge, when it came to backing up his kids, man, we went to the coaches meeting. Like he was all for his kids. You know what I mean? Like it's nothing you could tell him that Marquise or Jeremiah wasn't there, man. Like, and that's genuine, you know. And that's the one thing I respect about him. Like even though you were his player, like he had about 50 kids. You know what I mean? But like those were his children, you know, and he expressed that daily. And when it came to grades, you know what I mean, he made sure he tried to put them in the best position possible. And pretty much, I just want to say thank you, Coach Burke. I mean, you gave me the opportunity. Like you really gave me my first head coaching job, to be real with you. And you gave me the opportunity to step in and be a part of the family. And you've been giving me wisdom and knowledge since then.
All right, Marquise, you up?
All right, good afternoon, everybody in the chat, man. I just gotta say, Coach Burke, man, I don't really even know where to start. I was at Northwestern for my 4 years of high school. Started off freshman year, came in, and I was transferring from a school in DC, Idea, and I came up to him and I was just like, you know, my friends told me that you're like the basketball coach and I'm about to transfer here. So I was asking him, can I play? Because it was already after they had tryouts or whatever, and I think they was going to have like a scrimmage that week. So, I thought it was too late. So, the first thing he asked me, he was just like, like, who are you? Like, can you even play basketball? And I just told him like, just give me a chance. Like, just let me prove to you. So I ended up being enrolled in the school, and he ended up letting me play in a scrimmage or whatever. I had a pretty good scrimmage or whatever. So, he ended up putting me on the team, stuff like that. But that year, I think we had, like team shoes or whatever. And I think I heard someone say earlier, like I was supposed to move up to varsity, but I failed off my freshman year. So I didn't even get to move up and things like that. But, I played varsity my 10th, 11th, and senior year. And like honestly, Coach Burke, like he was one of the best coaches I ever had. He always kept it real with me. He always told me what he needed from me to do in every game, what he expected from me. And, I just tried to complete that task. It was just a connection that we had, it was kind of, we had our rough times like any player and coach would have, but we also had a lot of good times. And I just, it's just hard to take this in, man. I really can't believe it. It just don't seem right. It just don't seem real, man. But I just got love. I just got a lot of love for Coach Burke. Respect, man. I know. I hear it all the time. I hear the stories. I know he went hard for me. So every night I put on that jersey and play for him. I try to go hard for him as well. I wish I could have did a little bit more for him, man. I just feel like he deserved a little bit more from me, things like that. But that's all I really got to say, man. I love Coach Burke, man. May he rest in peace.
Thank you so much, Marquise, man. Coming, and I know I'm speaking for a lot of the coaches. Well, not even coaches, man. The men that's in here, the hardest thing to do is to actually talk about and express yourself in a way where not only just out loud, but in front of people as well. So that's a part of the stepping stone. So we could definitely see what Coach Burke has put in, not just to you, but to all his players. And that's why we do the things that we do. Open the floor up for Coach Massenberg. He's over at Douglas High School, another one of our legends. Coach Burke, before you talk, though, you got to unpress your mute on your phone.
Good. Man, I don't even know where to start with Coach Burke. I mean, we go back to where I coached his son, Terrance AAU. He came to when I was coaching at DC Assault, and I was coaching at Suitland High School at the time. And that's where I met Terrance. He wasn't coaching in the county yet. And, he would always, at that point we were just friends. And, he was just coming to watch his son play, going to the tournaments, things like that. And then had the unfortunate situation with Coach Moore. And we had a conversation about coaching in the county. And I thought it would be a great idea for him to do that. It was the year before his son, when he started coaching, his son was going to come to Suitland with him. But then I ended up not coming back to Suitland. And I think that's the year he went to Northwestern, so his son finished at Northwestern with him. But, this was a tough day. Definitely a tough day. It's good that his players were able to use this platform as an outlet to talk about all the good things Coach Burke did for them. Coaching, I tell a lot of young coaches now that just so focused on trying to get a ring that, guys like Coach Burke, he was more invested into, and I say myself, we're not doing this for rings. And I don't think Coach Burke did it for rings. He did it because he invested in the well-being of kids and his players. And, you know, hopefully coaches can, you know, take an example from some of these good guys that do coach, and their names not mentioned with winning a lot of rings. And that doesn't mean that you know, they're not doing it for the right reasons. You know, Coach Burke was my guy. We played them every year that we were coaching. My players used to like, Coach, we playing Northwestern again? Yeah, every year. I'm like, why? Because that's my guy. I mean, we're going to always play. And then after the game or scrimmage, he like, Coach, what's up with that play y'all ran? Or we play so-and-so next. Or he'll call me, you know. I can tell y'all now, you know, he used to call me all the time about teams he played. I mean, that was my guy. I don't know if you guys had the same experience, but every time he played at my gym, my man would leave something and always call me, maybe from the bus after he got Coach, I left my hat in the gym, or I left my keys, or it was just like the kids would know, like, man, who jacket is this, Coach? Oh, we know, Coach Burke. Coach Burke left his jacket. I said, don't worry, he'll be calling in about 10 minutes. And before we leave the gym, like, oh, and I got it. He'll come to the school the next day. Maybe he just did that just so we can holler at each other. But, you know, it's a tribute for me to be able to speak about him. It's you know, as far as coach, man, we gotta take notes from the real guys like this. You know, as far as players, I can't imagine, you know, we're gonna have to help them out. We're gonna have to, you know, show what our association is really about, and that is everybody is together. And you know, that's all I want. I really wasn't going to talk, but I know a lot of you guys and this platform. I look at every one of y'all as sons. So, you know, as my dad told me, is you're not a sheep anymore. You're a shepherd. And you know, when I was a young coach, I was a sheep. But I feel like, you know, myself as an older coach, I have to be the shepherd. And I appreciate what y'all doing, man. This is incredible. And it should be shown to, you know, whoever's in this coaching position. So thank you, man. Appreciate y'all.
Thanks so much, Coach Burke. Appreciate you as well, man. And like I said, man, I'm proud to be a sheep, man, because speaking to guys like Coach Wake and Coach Berg and Lou Wilson, I don't like to say the veteran guys of the game, man. It's big for the county for us to have somebody to follow in the footsteps of guys that we can kind of like look at to as mentors. And I really appreciate you as well, Coach. Next coach is Coach John Camaro from Parkdale High School.
What's going on, fellas? Appreciate to be on this platform with you guys. And just, you know, myself and Coach O, we just came up with this idea that we just had to show our respects to Coach Burke, the Northwestern community, all his former players and coaches that coached alongside with him. I just like to piggyback on basically what everybody said. I could start from Coach Lou and what he was saying about Coach Burke just fighting for his players. I don't think he elaborated enough. And just being in that room with all the 4A coaches that day, I just learned a lot about Coach Burke that day, just sitting in that room. And he was sitting directly behind me, and Coach Lou was sitting directly in front of me. And, you know, he was fighting for Marquise and Jeremiah to a point where all the coaches in the room didn't agree with what he was saying. He was basically saying, like, Roosevelt kids or other kids shouldn't be on first team. And he had the stat book right there, like Marquise and Jeremiah gave all y'all 25 and 10. There's no way they're not both first team. And we just looking like, all right, but so all the coaches didn't agree, but one thing that we all agree with, we just agreed with how he was, fighting for his kids. And that's nothing that nobody could disagree with that day. Like you had to appreciate a coach going the extra mile for their kid. And I think that's what Coach Massenberg was just saying. Like, it's not about rings, it's about doing for these kids. And on that day, on that platform, we were just sitting there, it was like, wow, that's how every coach should want to fight for their kids no matter what. And, right or wrong, and he wasn't necessarily wrong. We just didn't all agree, but we all agreed with how he was fighting for his kids. And that's just how every coach should want to just go all out for their kids. And that was just like greatly appreciated from every coach walking out that door at Roosevelt that day. And just to touch on Massenberg was just saying about, I didn't know that y'all were, great friends. Me and Coach Massenberg played the first game of the season this year, and I text Coach Burke. I said, "What did Douglas do?" And he gave me a brief, I guess, because he gave me a real brief, explanation. He was like, solid at all positions. They're going to trap, but watch out for the alley-oop play. And like the whole game, I was just telling my kids, like, don't get dunked on by Abdul. Like, I'm sure he did something against Northwestern. Like, don't get dunked on. So he definitely was giving me tips throughout the season. And a funny story about Coach Burke. Like some of his coaches said, like they went to Three Brothers a lot. We had a conversation like 3 or 4 years ago. This is when I was assistant coach at Bladensburg. It's a funny story. We were at Fridays, and my assistant coach, Coach Rob Pegram. We didn't attend Fridays that day, so we'd go to the Fridays, win, lose, or draw after the game. We'll just, sometimes Coach O wouldn't be there, but we was we were so dedicated as coaches, and we just went to go chop it up after each and every game, win, lose, or draw. And on this particular day, I wasn't there, and this was Coach Rod's first year, and he meets Coach Burke, and this is him and Coach Burke first time meeting, so they're just talking basketball. And 4A and 3A. The 4A has two sides. So I think the playoffs was about to start like the following week, and we had a pretty good team at Bladensburg that year. And so Coach Rod and Coach Burke, they're having a conversation, and he's like, "So how y'all think y'all going to do?" So at the time, Coach Rod, this is his first year, so he doesn't know every coach. So he believes that Coach Burke is the Flowers coach. So we're on our side. So he's like, "Well, you already know, like, we split with Duval. We're going to beat Laurel. Northwestern is some trash." And, like, Coach Burke just paused. He said, "What?" And so the conversation just kept going. The conversation just kept going. And then, so I see Coach Burke the following Friday. He's like, "You know what your idiot coach was said to be on Tuesday night and Fridays?" He's like, "Man, what?" So he going through the conversation. He over there. He talking about the playoff split. He just said, we already beat Duval. Once we split with Duval, we're going to beat Laurel. He said, Northwestern's some trash. And I was like, what? And then we just laughed. And he just found it humorous. And that was just Coach Burke. And it was just a funny moment. And like every time we meet, we just laugh about that conversation that they had. But that was just Coach Burke. He didn't take no offense to it. He understood the competitive nature of basketball, but that was just a funny story, and we always laugh about that to the last time I seen him in the playoff game this past year. So that's my funny story with Coach Burke. Pass it on to somebody else.
Yeah, I definitely can see that happening, Coach John. Coach Burke was definitely funny. A lot of stories that I could share over the years, but one thing I look on is, and I know we talked about with the 4A thing we did with the voting this year. One of the other things were that I think it was probably like 4 years ago, we hosted a tryout for the All-Stars at Northwestern High School. And I think the point guard at that time, I think his name might have been Elijah with dreads. He didn't make the first team. And I found that kind of strange. And Coach Burke's like, "Man, we got to do something about this, man." I said, "Coach, I'm with you. I don't know why he didn't make first team." He said, "But they got 3 Wise guys and they got 4 Roosevelt guys. No, my guy can play. My guy," I said, "Yeah, he gave us problems too." He said, "He gave everybody problems." I said, "Well, Coach, we just gotta make that phone call. He said, no, I already made the phone call. I said, okay, well, we ain't gotta make it. You know what I mean? He said, I already made the phone call. My kid gonna play in that all-star. I said, Coach, I'm with you 100%. And Coach Burke's just that type of person. When that news came through in the text thread about his passing, first thing was like, nah. I was noticing me getting a lot of phone calls, and then I got a text, and I was like, that's where everybody was calling me. And one thing I learned from that, coaches, whenever, and I do this all the time now, I'm about 80% good at it. Whenever you get that urge, it's just like calling a play. Never second guess your heart. Pick your phone up, text, call, visit. If you're thinking about somebody, take that time out, man, because you never know when the last time you can be able to say something to somebody. And that's the way I feel about the whole situation, man. And when I found out, first thing immediate in my mind, and I said, what will Coach Burke do? I reached out to the players that I can reach. And Marquise will tell you, I told Marquise, and it's like I texted the group, as coaches, as an association, we're going to do our part to make sure you guys get an opportunity, just like he will fight for your opportunity to continue not just your basketball career, but your education as well. So 10, 15 years from now, you can be that person, that coach, that mentor, because I'm sure some of y'all don't know it yet. You're going to be coaches. It's just the way it is. I never thought I'd been coaching 18 years ago either. Someone made me coach, and you guys going to have that opportunity, Marquise, if you're still there, you're listening. Just keep your head up, man, because I know when Coach Butler passed away, I was coaching at the time. And that day we got the news of Coach Butler passing away, we actually had a game that day. And that was one of the hardest things to tell a kid is that it's coach gone. And because as coaches, we wear so many hats inside our programs. We know how much we mean to these kids, but most of the time we kind of like forget because like Marquis said, you're gonna have your bad days, you're gonna have your good days. But at the end of the day, our kids are listening. And I know as coaches, y'all see it a lot of times too, when your kids know you like the back of your hand. They'll get in the locker room and they'll make a video. All right, I'm about to do the Coach Lou. Here it is. I'm about to do they watching us. They want to emulate us. They want to be like us, and it's not saying that they making fun of us, but we touching them. We making sure that they understand that we care. And that's one thing I know about Coach Burke. Coach Burke actually cared not just for Northwestern kids, though. He cared for all the kids. When I came over to his school, I didn't even know he worked at Northwestern because his office is all the way in the back in a side room with the PPW. Coach Odell works over there. And inside that room, they got all these suits. And that day, they gave us like 35, 40 suits, Joseph A. Banks suits, belts, socks, T-shirts, whatever was in that room, Coach Burks and Coach O allowed us to get it and take it to our kids at Bladensburg. And it was a testament of the type of person he is, man. So I won't use the word he's going to be missed, but definitely we're going to make sure we remember him just like we do every coach and just making sure we pass it on, man. And I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to coach in this county. It's a blessing. Like I tell our kids all the time, short-term goals, like what Master Bird said, short-term goals are championships. Long-term goals are relationships. And having relationships go way further than renting a ring and putting up a banner, because having relationships 10 years, 15 years, 20 years from now, to have that phone call or to have that wedding to go to or that graduation or that christening or a celebration of life for anyone and being that backbone for kids that you touch is awesome. So I thank you guys for coming on this platform, man. And we did this for the coaches, by the coaches, to make sure we have an avenue to talk about not just basketball in general, but, stuff that we need to know and our kids need to know, and to be sponges for one another so we can keep that relationship and that association going on. So I want to say thank you to you guys. If anybody that just came in, I think David Bell just came in. Is he on now, John?
Let me check. David.
Not yet. I'm about to give him my phone.
Okay, cool. All right, whenever David's ready, man, Dave, you can definitely have the floor.
And somebody else can talk for now, because
Okay.
he talking to
Thank
us.
Saquon. In typical Saquon fashion. Tell him. Appreciate you. So basically, so just to give a little bit more insight about what we're doing here so everybody can know, that not just about today. Myself, Coach John, Coach Chuck, it's about 7 of us in a group chat. We always talk about ways to get more exposure for not just Prince George's County, but for coaches as well to have a platform to discuss not just hoops, different things with programs and stuff like that. So that's the reason why we really came up with this. Just so happened for us being in here with the virus going on and being at home. I know y'all missing hoops too, just like I am. But what it did allow for us to do is to get with our families. We definitely doing things that we would not be able to do in a long time. We haven't done it in a long time. But this is what this platform was for. So every day about 12:30, we go on with a different guest, mainly coaches from high school, collegiate coaches from every level, even down with JUCO coaches that's coming in to talk about their program and what the expectation is for players and for commitments and stuff like that, and things that we think that people should know about programs and about basketball in general and coaches. So if Coach Lou, you want to say anything else you want to add on?
Dave, ready whenever y'all.
Not in particular, but I'm just grateful to be here, listening to all the young coaches, inspiring and teaching and learning our young players how to be young men. And it's just awesome. It's an awesome feeling to be coaching in Prince George's County. I'm looking forward to listening to a player that I've been following for his 4 or 5 years, David Bell. I'm anxious to hear his train of thought.
Coach,
you guys hear me? My bad.
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. It's David Bell. I played for Burke from 2011 to 2015 at Northwestern High School. I really remember Burke for being a teacher. So a lot of people don't know, but my first 2 years of high school, I didn't get a chance to play because my grades, I had a grade. So Burke sat me down in his office one day, and he was basically saying, if I don't get my, grades and stuff together, then, and, I'm not going, I can't play basketball. And that really, hit home. And, ever since then, I've never had anything less, than a 3.2. And him just being a father figure, he was just somebody that always poured, into people, and somebody who just always wanted to help. I never forget, we used to sell pizzas after school for $2 a slice to try to raise money. And he knew we was, eating some of the food, but he just kind of, just was one of the people who, he know we needed to, we were hungry, we need to eat. So he was just always, looking out, let me in the gym, to get shots up. Somebody I could always call on, to talk about the game or, what I did wrong, stuff like that. So he was just always, just a blessing in my life. That's it.
Definitely appreciate that, Bill. And like you gave us headaches all your years at Northwestern Bladesburg. We had to deal with you, and it was good to see you had the opportunity to go to college. And I'm sure Marquise, you're still there. You're listening to as well, hearing those stories of people that walked in your same shoes, and to hear that I didn't have the grades too, and I got my stuff together. And that's the thing that what we need for you to do, Marquise, and all the players to represent Coach Burke in a way that we want you to represent, So have something to do, live for. Marquise, to the student athletes out there, make sure you guys, do what you're supposed to do. I mean, we weren't perfect as adults either. We still not perfect, but we found a way. And our way is to make sure you don't go the majority of the ways, the wrong things that we did in our life that we can't change. And that's why we owe you so much. So this concludes the episode of the Coaches Show. I want to thank all the coaches for coming on, man. Like I said, we do this all the time. We have a YouTube channel, and we also on Twitter for the coaches on Twitter as well. If you can give us a follow on there, that way you can be in the loop with the videos and stuff that come out every day. Appreciate you guys so much, man, and thank you again.
God bless you all. Be safe.
God bless.
Thank you for
God
having
bless
me.
y'all.
Sir.
God bless
Love
y'all.
you,
Stay
Bert.
safe.
Appreciate it, man. Y'all be good. Y'all be good, man.
Hey, thank you, coaches. Appreciate y'all, man.